I keep forgetting. Remind me. They told you you don't need no businesses. What you need to do is go to school, get user degrees, be strong and independent so that you can go to work for a white company. That's what you need to do. You need to go to school or you need to go get you a job at the plant. In our dilapidated, run-down, antiquated industrial centers around this country. Detroit, Philadelphia, Houston. They did that. They did that. That was what they did. They told you that you could depend on that. They told you that you could depend on that. How'd that work out for you? How did chasing those degrees work out for you? How did going to those colleges work out for you there? They led you right into a trick bag, and it is the federal government itself that has led a campaign of making this the most, some of the most, if not the most expensive higher education on the planet. And it has particularly corralled black folk. The old people told you that this was a good idea. The old people told you that. They told you to go to school and get a degree, and meanwhile, they already knew they didn't have a place for you to take those degrees to. That's the problem. They were telling you get a degree, and these old bastards were waffling and waddling around. They had no place for you to use your degree in, but they were steadily sitting up here compelling you, encouraging you, that you need to listen to them. Go ahead and get that degree in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. We don't have a plan for you. Hopefully you can get a degree and the white folks will have a plan for you. Hopefully that'll be what happens. Because we damn sure ain't got an idea what to do with you. Nothing at all. How are you doing with that? How's that working out for you? How is chasing degrees going for you? How is that happening? How did that turn out for you? To the young black people who were told by your elders that this was the way to go. By the way, how'd that turn out for you? They told you to do that, and then in 2001, they made it where your student loan debts can't be discharged. Now a whole generations are now caught up in that machine. And will spend the rest of their lives fighting against it. Because the old folk, the old black folk, in order to get the monkey off their backs, they told you these lies that they knew were lies, because the truth of the matter is no other group of people tell their children that, because other groups of people, the older generation works to establish a foundation upon which they can pass on to the next generation. But see, that's the problem. The problem is the old niggas are jealous. That's the reality. The reality is the old niggas are jealous because they feel like you've got a bunch of interracial sexual access and you've got a bunch of consumer outlets that you can go to that they only wish they could have when they were your age. Because you see, they were young and useless, now they're old and useless, and they're jealous of you because they feel like there's a whole bunch of useless behavior that they missed out on. And that's the real truth of it. You can't point to anything that they built or are building. They're just jealous because they feel like they missed out and that you are getting a bunch of access to stuff that they missed out on. So they're jealous of you. I got some questions I'm going to ask here in just a little bit. And it's going to be difficult for you to hear here, but I want you all, when I open the phone lines tonight, I'm going to open up the phone lines tonight, and I want you to tell me what these old folk did for you. That's what I'm going to want to hear about. I'm going to want to hear about what the old folk did for you. Let me know what that was. I want to find out. Let's talk about your housing. When these old decrepit fossils were your age, they could buy a house cash. They didn't have laws that let investment banks and investors, investment corporations, come into a city and buy up 50% of the housing stock. They didn't have that. They didn't have a dollar that was worth a tenth of what it is now. They didn't have lack of institutions. They had institutions and squandered them. We had a string of black banks. We had black business districts. The old niggas squandered those. Now, as a young person today, if you want to buy a house, do you realize that the median home price in America today is about $300,000? It's slightly south of that, but today it's about $300,000. People, this is a problem everywhere in America. It's not confined to the major metropolitan areas anymore. This isn't just, Chicago or San Francisco or New York or Miami. This is everywhere in America now. It's across the board. Big cities, mid-sized cities, small cities. We're looking at this outrageous cost now everywhere. It's everywhere. Why do you think that's happening? Why is it that your parents and grandparents, it was so much easier for them? How many of you even have a house to inherit from them, by the way? After they went off and did their thing, how many of you even have a house that you are able to inherit? How many of you have that? These are uncomfortable truths, but these are uncomfortable truths that you'll have to face. Understand that. As young black people today, do you realize what a hideous disadvantage you've been put at a very basic regard? You don't have the institutions. You don't have the means. You want to own a home because you actually want to have a legacy to pass on, but you've been taught that that's not important. Let's talk about your income. How many of you are technically making more money than your parents did, and yet you are living at a lower standard of living than your parents and even your grandparents? How many of you, that's your situation right now? How many of you are young black people and you are living at a lower standard of living and level than your parents were at your age? How many of you are listening to me right now and that's your condition? Those are your circumstances right now. Let's talk about vulnerability. Do you believe that you are less vulnerable today to white supremacist violence and a system that will reinforce it and support it? Or do you believe that you are more vulnerable today? Or do you believe that you're just as vulnerable and that nothing has changed? And if it hasn't changed, whose fault is it that it didn't change? Who's to blame for this if things didn't actually change? Who's to blame for that? Who do you blame for that? Who's responsible for giving their children a better future and a better life than they had, who was responsible for that? Who was supposed to make sure that these problems were solved and these old demons were slain? Who was supposed to do that? And before you try to sit up here and say they did the best they could, most of you today, your parents and grandparents don't even have a warrior spirit today. You ask them about this stuff and they'll just tell you, man, I don't want to get involved in that right there. You know, that's them folks over there. I just worries about me and mine, and they didn't do anything for themselves or theirs. How many of you have been cowed into submission to not even question these things, to not even say anything about it? How many of you have? Take a look at all the aspects of your life that the old black folks, as they've gotten older and now they're rickety and they ain't worried about the police pulling them over and killing them. Why? Because old niggas have already been defeated. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, that was exactly what I said. Old niggas have already been defeated. And the society already knows that. They're not a threat. All they want to do is go to their church. That's the social club for square old niggas. The church is the dance club for square old niggas. And I do mean dance club. That's the dance club for square old niggas. They never did anything to get any respect at their job. They certainly didn't do anything to get respect among the young people in their community. So what they do is a bunch of old failures go get secluded off in a house of worship somewhere. They put on a suit and pretend that that is respectability. Walk outside the doors of that church and tell me what you holding and what you help with, and all of a sudden, dead silence. They go off and they hide in places where they will not be held to account. And that's the reality. When you ask me how I feel about the last presidential election, when you ask me what I feel about the folks who mock those of us, mocking us, talking about all y'all pro-blacks, you know who I'm looking out for? This is what it means to be pro-black. I'm looking out for them. And I don't necessarily blame them because they're young and stupid and been misled. The old folk who are supposed to teach them the right way misled them. But when you mock being pro-black, just understand you're mocking your own survival. When you say you're not pro-black, you mean you're not pro-you. And you were taught by the old folk that being black was offensive to everybody else. So you can't say that. Now, white people can say that they're Irish, German, Jewish, Polish, Arab, Latino. But you have to hide yourself because that'll be offensive. And so they taught you to subconsciously elevate everybody else and to diminish yourself so that they would be comfortable with you. And in the process, you have now been reduced to irrelevance. And it's the old niggas who fooled you and tricked you and misled you into this. They misled you into this. Do you understand that that's the situation you're in now? You are in a situation now where they are passing executive orders left and right, and none of them for you. None of them for you at all. All the excuses that they give for you for why they can't do anything, and then they leapfrog you. Do you understand that? Do you understand that this was not a victimless crime? I'm not doing the black Ayatollah thing tonight. I want you to understand, do you see, this is not a victimless crime. You can go off and giggle with the folks who sit up here and tell you that mess if you want to. You need to understand that this is not a victimless crime. It's not. The folks who told you that this was a minor obstruction and it didn't hurt nothing, I want you to understand, the young people, you are going to be the ones who take it worst on the chin. Y'all already don't have access to jobs, housing, opportunities, capital. You already don't have that. You already didn't have that because they were passing you over for white people. Now they're going to pass you over for everybody else. And it was the old niggas who sold you out and marched you into doing it. Do you understand that? Do you understand that that's where you got put into? Do you understand that? This was not a victimless crime, and getting you to clap along and say, yeah, forget all that being pro-black. Ain't nothing great about being black. Why we need to be black? We all's humans. We's all's peoples. I don't need no blackness. You going on with that black stuff, man. But you're another black person. So, it don't matter. I ain't worried about being black, man. You need to worry about we need to worry about the environment and the climate and disease and famine. That's what we need to worry about there. Y'all with all that old pro-black stuff. Meanwhile, you are tens of thousands of dollars in debt. You cannot afford even the down payment on a home. You are struggling to get by or failing to get by. You have to move back in with your parents or your grandparents. You are watching as everybody else is getting on with their lives and getting ahead in America and the world. And you are a bystander who is having to buy cell phones and shoes to console yourselves. But you try to console yourself by saying that following this pattern of crooked behavior, that this was a victimless crime. You want to know when you're going to realize you're suffering? When you get in your 30s and realize you are in the exact same place at 35 that you were at 21. Maybe you have a different job, but you'll be in the same place at 35 as you were at 25. Despite your best efforts, despite your most valiant attempts, despite trying as hard as you can, nothing will actually change for you. Other people were given a head start and you were given nothing. And you were told that that was a victimless crime and that somehow it was your fault. Now they're about to engrave it into official policy. And you will sit there, scared, cowering, making up excuses. But you got to understand something. The folks that walked you off into this, they're not going to be suffering with you. Most of them have accepted their fate. They are just hoping for a quiet, peaceful death. They're too ashamed to keep living in the first place. They realize how they failed, that their lives didn't really amount to anything. And at this point right now, they are really just hoping for a quiet and peaceful death. And that peaceful part includes not hearing you harass them about what they didn't do for you when they were your age, when they were coming up. Just understand that that's part of their plan for a peaceful death is, oh yeah, shutting you up. That's a primary part of the formula for a peaceful death. You were sold out. You were sold out by all these old folks with their incontinence and their erectile dysfunction and their adult diapers and their worn out old 79 Cadillacs. And you, the children, have been left to your own devices. With the same people who did this, they were okay with it because at this point they have this symbiotic slave relationship with the dominant society. Whatever the dominant society tells them to do, they do it. As a matter of fact, they are so well trained now, they don't even really need to be told anymore. They're on autopilot. They identify with their oppressors. It is disgusting. It is reprehensible. It's abhorrible. And it is being inflicted on you. You are going to be the final victims. As a matter of fact, you're already the final victims. Black people are already at a disadvantage in every single city that we are in. Even the ones where we have a majority, where all we are is a majority of the population. We're not a majority of the power, wealth, influence. The children are working harder than any damn body else and getting less than anybody else. This is not a victimless crime. That is what I've been trying to tell you, that this is not a victimless crime, and this will be a difficult thing for you to accept. I didn't lose the election. Trump didn't really lose the election. He's still a mega rich white man. Those of you who listen to your parents and grandparents who already sold you out years ago, you're the ones who lost. You're the ones who will pay the final bill. You're going to pay the final tab for their cowardice, their inaction, their misleadership. You will be the ones who pay the final bill for this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You are going to be the ones who carry these burdens, and you don't even know yet. You don't even realize it yet that, by the way, your future is already being etched in stone, and you will be powerless to get out of it. It will be a modern day caste system, and Kamala Harris should know all about caste systems. Only now you will be the dust people. You'll be the Barakaman. You'll be the Kafir. You'll be the ones at the bottom, which is where you are now. You will live in cities, but you will be squatters in your own cities, and your fates will be decided for you, not at the age of 42 or even 32, but at the ages of 21 and 20 and 18. Your fates will already be decided for you, and it was these old niggas that got you into this. And many of you will defend them as they have dug you into this quagmire deeper and deeper. And there will actually be a number of you who will you have now carried on the Stockholm Syndrome. They were slaves to the dominant society, and you will now be slaves to them. And you will pat them on the back and tell them how great and respected they are as they sit there and be like, so glad this young little nigga didn't ask me what I was passing on. I sure do hate it when we have to discuss that. It's not a victimless crime at all. We're going to get to the telephone lines here in just a few moments. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program. It's very much appreciated. My man Cameron, Tunde, Andrew, PayPal, Cash App, whatever. Quincy, thank you very much for that. Everyone who has supported this, because I want you all to understand. I want you all to understand exactly what we're dealing with here. I started the Black channel because I wanted to create a resource for young Black people that I wished had been there when I was a young black person. That was the whole reason I started the Black Channel. Not some clowns trying to get attention, trying to bluff their way through a discussion, pretending they know things they don't know. I wanted to create a place where you could get real, actionable, reliable information from a source that was accountable. Because I looked at all of your parents and your grandparents and you didn't have that. And I wanted a place where it could be passed on en masse. And I just want you to understand that you will not have the opportunities that even I had, because they've been sold out right from under your feet. Right from under your feet. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go to the phone lines. This is the Black Channel.
Within us is a powerful spirit, a God-given spirit. It's a spirit that empowers us to oppose demonic white supremacy. A spirit that motivates us to eradicate racist lies with black truth. This spirit was alive during the rebellion of 1811. The spirit catapults us towards righteous justice. This is the spirit our opponents fear. Is the spirit of 1811 alive in you? Visit us at spiritOf1811publishing.com. Buy our novel, War of the Heart, on sale today at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Spirit of 1811 Publishing. Our story, our family.
Aliens descend upon the city and discover melanin. They notice the people. They exploit the people.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because I enjoy it. And because I can.
What type of payment do you want?
Do you see me? I have the best. I want the best. And I deserve the best.
Join us for the new drug you can find on YouTube at The Urban Gods, spelled with a Z, channel on YouTube.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's a very serious subject to undertake. I'd like to send especially a big thanks out as well to Whitfield. Thank you very much for that as well. I appreciate your support and your long-standing support, so thank you very much for that as well. We're going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines now. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. This is your access code to the Black Media. And I would like to open up the phone lines here tonight, and I want to ask a very simple question of all of you here. What did the old generation do for you? Simple question I'm asking. What are the concrete, tangible things that they've done for you? Or are you going to become a con artist and try to convince us all that, well, I mean, they gave me a good heart and taught me to be a good person, and that is a concrete, tangible. Why, that is real wealth. Real wealth is being a good person. That's what it is. You tell me. The telephone number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. To all my young black people out there, I want for you to give me a call up, and I would like for you to explain to me, what did the old people do for you? I'd like to hear. Let me get a caller from area code 702. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, caller from 702 has been abducted. We'll come back to them here in just a few moments. I did tonight's program because with all of the talk that people have been giving about what we're looking at in the future and what we're going to be dealing with, I decided I wanted to take this as an opportunity to talk to all of you about that, because that's an important thing for me. I wanted to discuss with you all, what exactly is it that you feel was done for you? If you want to disagree with what I'm saying, if you want to argue with it, if you want to take issue with it, I would want to find out from you, what exactly is it that you got? What is it that you received? What is it that you have? What is it that was done for you that makes you feel like something was done for you? Caller from area code 281, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Prince out of Richmond, Texas.
Prince out of Richmond, Texas. What did the old black folk do for you?
Absolutely nothing. Okay? Jason, you're a Gen Xer like myself. This really hurts for you to talk about this subject because you remember when we were in school, the teachers used to tell us, and people that had a little education, I got mine, get yours. Do you remember those statements from that generation?
Yes, we do. They're the ones who taught it.
They taught us that, and a lot of times they would strut through the community working at the plant. In our case, down there in Houston, the Port Authority, the waterfront, we called it. And they would strut by with their Cadillacs, and I would look at pictures. Because I had uncles, they were from the first, they were twins, and they were the first blacks to be managers, supervisors down there, right? You know, they were light-skinned. And I saw pictures from the 50s. They would come with brand-new cars all the way up until the 70s when I was growing up, you know. And I asked my grandma, I told my grandmother, you know, hey, I may have to leave the area when I finish school because I couldn't find a job back in the late 80s. You know how it was, the economy. She said, well, I'm going to talk to them and ask them. I didn't say nothing. They came. They sit me in a chair in the driveway, paced back in front of me, back and forth in front of me, excuse me, I'm a little upset, and told me what nothing they could do for me. They couldn't help me get a job or nothing. And at that point, I never asked anybody for nothing again a day in my life. I'm not saying I wasn't ever helped. The people that helped me saw me doing things, and then they came and helped me. But I'm telling you, they regretted it because of who I turned out to be. And I remember go by there to see them, and they said, well, you don't have to come way out here to see us. I said, no, you're my grandmother's brother. And unless you tell me to stop coming to your house, I'm going to come. They couldn't, you know, I don't know how they felt about it. You know, I love them. They're my family. But the fact that my great-grandparents, they sold all the land. I was there when my great-grandmother was selling the land away just so there wouldn't be any argument in the family, you know. I was there. I saw these things. And then people wonder why you're not loyal to these things or these so-called family values. What are the family values? Every man for himself.
Sold the land so that there would not be an argument in the family. Think about that.
Yes.
Think about that for just a few moments. Throughout history, it has always been the choice of the elder to decide who the successor should be.
Yes.
This is why bloodline is so important. Because when it's time to pass on your power, wealth, and influence to benefit the next generation, it needs to be clearly defined who you are doing it for. And sometimes you have to make a hard decision, but that's the decision you have to make, is who is best to steward this. And I would submit to you, brother, that when they do something like that and they sell the land, it is because they feel like they've done such a pathetic job raising their children that they don't trust any of them because they failed to do an adequate job raising them. So they're just like, well, hell, none of them are ready for this. Well, it was your job to get them ready. Well, I was chasing skirts and other more important things, so none of them is ready. So, hell, I might as well just sell it. I would submit to you that's a better explanation. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 763. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you're calling from? Okay, caller from 763 jumped off the phone. Caller from area code 510, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, Jay? It's your boy Shy calling out of Berkeley, California.
Shy, Berkeley, what's on your mind?
Oh, man, this what old folks have done for me. They told me to hands up, don't shoot, told me to go to church, told me to listen to white folks and pray that a savior would come and fix my situation. But what I am happy is that channels like yours, first the business and then the Black Authority, this channel right here has told me to get my weight up. And so therefore I can build my own wealth. I got my Class A license in California, drive the bus in the Bay Area. So I'm already approaching almost $50,000 in savings. I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm not going to listen to the old people who betrayed us. And I'm going to build my wealth so that way I can pass it down to my kids and be the better example instead of what the civil rights era did. Now, I'm not mad at my grandparents and my parents per se, but there are some alarming things that you've kind of said in your previous, earlier that they said to me, and it's kind of upsetting and troubling. And I felt for the last caller about his grandma selling all that property. It happens a lot, but I just appreciate your channel, Jay, and I'm get off and let other people call in. But thank you for taking my call, fam.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 571. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
Hey, Ree. Hey, Jason. This is Ree calling from New Jersey, but I reside in Arlington, Virginia. I called a few months back. I was the girl that lost her voice.
Okay, Ree from New Jersey. What have the old folks done for you?
I agree with you. Absolutely nothing. It is upsetting because my partner and I actually talk about this all the time, and it includes my mother because it is what it is. A spade's a spade. She knows what it is, but at the same time, she goes to church, she praises Jesus, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, like, what else did you leave for me and my sisters? Now, granted, God forbid the day that she goes, she's going to leave the house to us. But it's frightening to know that she can't see past all of everything that's going on because, of course, she's going to church or whatnot. So it's blindsiding her. And so you're right. It's absolutely nothing. It's nothing that they leave for us. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. So I agree with you 100%.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 330. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Jason? My name is Jay Money. I'm calling from Akron, Ohio.
All right, Jay from Akron, Ohio. And what have the elders done for you?
Well, like some of the other callers, the elders have provided me Jesus. They've also told me that I can do anything if I put my mind to it, in addition to telling me that education matters and that I need to go get a job, a good job, and to work as hard as I possibly can. And so when I look at some of the older people in my generation, I typically hear things like, well, Trump's a racist. Well, we need to vote for the Democrats. Y'all don't know what racism is. And I look at the age that they are, and very few have resources in terms of home ownership, businesses to pass down, and what they can provide primarily is love. And so, like most of your listeners, I've had a very, very similar experience, and I've just been trying to acquire resources, buy property, own stocks, do anything I can to try to get myself into a better position so when I do have kids, I can pass things down as well, too. But I appreciate your outlet, along with Professor Black Truth and Tariq. Great outlets. I feel like I've learned more from these three channels than I have in my doctoral program that I'm in and my master's program that I took as well, too, and even undergrad. So,
well, you certainly have. I can't lie with that one.
So
you probably have gotten a lot more out of it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How's it going, Jason? This is Sosa calling out of the Bronx, New York.
Sosa calling out of the Bronx. And what have the old blacks done for you?
Well, like everybody else, I could say that they've definitely pumped me up with a whole lot of Jesus and apathy when it comes to confronting racism and overall just getting along with the system and going along to get along in general. You know, fortunately for me, my parents have resources that they could pass down to me, from home ownership to, finances. But, in general, I can't say that, old folks in general have done much for me other than my parents, but even still, I can't say that that's enough.
Well, that's not really a whole lot there. Thank you very much for giving us a call. People, turn off your speakers when you call up. That's not a good look. Let me get caller from area code 352. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Nasir calling out of Boston.
Nasir calling out of Boston. And what have the old black generation done for you?
Well, the old black generation has left me stories, a whole bunch of stories about back in the day, about what they had and what they did. Now, my great-grandparents, they put the work in. They laid the foundation like real foundational black Americans should. Back in their day, they chose entrepreneurship, they chose sacrifice, but the problem is the generation after that, my grandparents and my parents tricked off all the money. They tricked off all the money. They were chasing interracial sex. And for the young black people who are in a similar situation, who may not feel like they want to spit on their elders, I understand that. But before you let your elders get off the hook, I want you to look around at the world. Look around at the world around you. Look at this country you live in. I have a friend who graduated Harvard and MIT as an electrical engineer. They're from Taiwan. His father is illiterate. His grandfather is illiterate. They don't have our history, of course, but what his grandfather and his father said, if they had the technology we have today, the number one thing they said they would have done with it was multiply their business, multiply their legacy, and fight the Japanese. That's what they told him they would have done with the technology that we have. My uncles tell me with our technology that, boy, if I had that plenty of fish, I'd be all over them women's. If I had this, if I had that, I'll be Mac Daddy. So my point is Chinese elders, Jewish elders, Indian elders, Arab elders are willing to die on the hill of empowerment. And black people, we need to wake up and don't let your elders off the hook. You don't got to spit on them. I don't spit on mine, but we have to learn from our elders, and we need to do what we need to do for the future generation. Be one.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. You don't have to spit on anybody, but you don't have to lionize them either, or deify them, or give them cover for their sins. You don't have to do that either. Caller from area code 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Tony out in Atlanta.
Tony in Atlanta. And what has the older generation done for you?
A whole lot of get a job, do for yourself. I wish that was a convenience store I could have took over when I got out of college, but it ended up being a lot of student loan debt, and now I'm hated for that.
No power, no wealth, no resources being passed down. Basically, the young generation, and this is the atrocity these old bastards did, the young generation is being forced to start from day one. You all might as well be immigrants. You're starting as if you just ended up here on the continent. And that's why I don't teach you to lionize or deify anybody who had they gave birth to you and then didn't set up anything for you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 301. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
B1 brother, JJ out of Largo, Maryland.
JJ out of Largo. And what has the old black generation done for you?
Pretty much go to church, pull up my pants, and eventually we're going to be able to vote white supremacy out of here. But, I basically had one question. A lot of these old niggas, they grew up in the era of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King And you know, in sports they say next man up. A player gets hurt, the other players got to be ready to play. So I just want to know, you know, when Malcolm and Martin died, you know, how come we didn't have anybody to step in their place? And when did the gears change from what Malcolm was talking about to what John Lewis is talking about?
Because along with we black people are going to have to face the reality that alongside generational poverty also came generational cowardice. And that is an unpleasant reality that we don't want to have to articulate, but let it be said clearly. Along with generational poverty, they also cultivated generational cowardice. And that's why the same old demons, generation after generation, Bull Connor, Lincoln Rockwell, David Duke, Strom Thurmond, Donald Trump, it keeps going on, because in black society, we've had our warriors, but we've also had an equal, if not greater, number of cowards walking alongside us. And while we have had the royalty and majesty of a Marcus Messiah Garvey, Malcolm X, Huey Newton, we have also had the Clarence Thomases and the Ward Connerlys and the John Lewises and the Jim Clyburns and all of them as well. Malcolm wasn't out here unobstructed. Malcolm was the minority. And that's what we have to understand. Malcolm was not the majority. He didn't speak for the majority of black folk. If he did, he wouldn't have needed to be Malcolm. That's the reality. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jason, this is Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thomas calling from Dallas. And what have the old black people done for you in Dallas?
Oh, wow. Absolutely nothing. I mean, this is one of the most important topics that of all centuries that you would bring this up. And it has to be said that you go back to the civil rights era. Think about that. Black people went into white establishments and really got their ass kicked and spit on, and a lot of them got killed, but only because they wanted to eat with white people and they wanted to spend money with white people. But we had our own restaurants, we had our own diners, we had our own, you name it, but we didn't want to spend money with each other because we wanted to be white. Those civil rights leaders wanted to be white, and Martin Luther King said it best before he died. He led us into a burning building. Now, I follow the teachings of Malcolm X. During that time, they hated Malcolm X. Black people hated Malcolm. They love him now, but those civil rights leaders hated him because he was speaking the truth about empowering our own people. And the only reason I bring up Black Wall Street all the time is that those black people was on code. They didn't spend money outside of that community at all. And look how
they didn't have. Whoa. All right, let's back up now. Let's be very, very clear. The reason that their Black Wall Street was successful, but more importantly, the reason there were so many was because white society outright refused and would kill you if you attempted to become a customer at their store. If you came sauntering into one of their towns talking about, I came here to buy a cup of coffee, you were liable to be killed. So yeah, they did it, but they did it because there wasn't really another option. As soon as other options started opening up, off they went. And that's a shameful practice that they've taught and passed on to the young. So that we're sitting here today and whatnot and talking about car companies like Bentley making racist ads and whatnot like that. And with us sitting here saying, wow, that's not cool and everything, when we should have our own, we would be the world standard because we made all their stuff hot to begin with, and we don't have to accept that. But you got to understand, the older generation cannot wrap its head around the words, we should do this ourselves, because number one, they're too lazy, and number two, all they heard you say is, I won't be a white customer. And in their minds, if it's not white, it doesn't actually have any value. It's just you slapping something together. Meanwhile, these white corporations make some of the worst vehicles and products known to man. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. Let me get caller from area code 804. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ken from Richmond, Virginia.
Ken from Richmond, Virginia. What have the old people done for you?
Absolutely nothing, Mr. Jason Black. I called you last week with that same old topic. These old niggas don't even want to give you a hand up. They don't even want to give you a telephone number if they're getting it on. A telephone number. I know a guy that's flipping houses, and I said, well, just help me. Give me a number. He said, well, you got to be put on the list. Well, I said, well, give me the number for the list. Never got any response. But I know he's flipping houses because I'm watching him. But he's not helping at all. And one other thing I want to say, all these church folks, well, the Bible says you're supposed to leave a legacy for your children and your grandchildren. I'm going to leave you with that.
And what is amazing, they'll quote to you any other verse of the Bible. They won't quote to you that one. They kind of just ignore that one. Isn't that amazing?
Exactly.
They want to quote the Bible, but they pick and choose the parts they want to quote. And that makes them unreliable.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. Let me get caller from area code 214. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Lyric, and I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
Lyric from Houston, and what have the old black folks done for you?
Nothing, exactly like everyone else. I actually went to the military at 18 just so that I could hopefully gain something for myself in this life. So I don't have anything to really give to our children, but we are working to own land. We're growing food in our apartment now. So it's nothing. And this show has been so empowering. Broadcast has been so empowering for us. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please do give us a call again. Let me get a caller from area code 857. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
How you doing, Jason Black? This is Damani calling out of Boston.
Okay, what was your name again?
Damani.
All right, Damani, and what have the old black people done for you?
Well, the old black people have taught me subservience. They've taught me unhealthy habits. They taught me to trust in God and lean not on my own understanding. So many things, but the biggest thing is symbolism, because as long as you have representation, they thought that's all that mattered. But we had Condoleezza Rice, and she was Secretary of State, and look how that turned out. So taught a lot of things, but it really didn't add up to much.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
Good evening, Jason Black. This is Black Voltron out of Deep West Oakland, California.
Black Voltron, and what have the old black folks done for you out there in Oakland?
The old black folks taught me a whole hell of a lot. I mean, a lot. For example, they taught me that it's okay for you to mortgage your future and your future generations for a good fucking time in the 70s and 80s. This topic right here is it really hurts. It really, really hurts, and it really hits home to me personally because I lost my dad 3 years ago. And for me, being a Generation X, you know, finally coming to realize this in my 30s and 40s, that number one, they had it all. I mean, they had so many fucking opportunities, and they just squandered it. I mean, let me tell you, I grew up off of 35th Avenue here in Oakland, and I watched the house that I grew up in after I graduated high school and went to a couple years of college. I watched this house when I finally started to understand the real estate market go from $500,000 to $600,000 to $750,000 to $900,000 to $1.5 million. Now it's worth over $2 million. Okay. And at the time, my parents bought this back in the 70s, early 70s, for $125,000. Okay. Now I have to show my daughter that.
By the way, that was a pretty healthy price tag back then, by the way. They
it
paid
was a semi-nice area.
I'm about to say they paid a pretty healthy price tag back then in 1970s dollars, considering where it was. By the way, they paid a pretty good price for it back then. So they knew.
Yes, they did.
I mean, here's the
But
real
they
thing.
were doing good.
My point to you is they knew. They didn't think they were buying a bad house in a bad neighborhood. They actually knew they were buying something that was going to appreciate in value. This didn't catch them off guard. They knew. They knew.
Exactly. And let me tell you, they lost his house in 1989, probably squandered it, over the damn divorce, and it just pisses me off. I used to sit up there and watch, I'm gonna be personal about this. I watched my mom buy a whole bunch of Ferragamos and Versace. We talking the 80s, all right, before Biggie and them start talking about all that shit. They were doing good. I remember my father. He had a contract with UCSF. He made like about $1.5 million in the mid 80s, balling, rolling. Okay, squandered that shit. Okay, squandered it.
There was
we
all
get all the way to the
back in the 70s.
We talking 1980s.
No. Do you? I mean, look, you and I got kinfolk out there, bro. And like I say, even though they didn't quite do the same thing, I mean, we watched it, we witnessed it, bro. I mean, back in the late 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s, man, niggas ran through every damn thing. Niggas ran through everything.
Cadillac,
money was moving. Everybody talks about, everybody talks about Freeway Rick, but the truth of the matter is that was a nationwide network. It wasn't just Los Angeles, dude. It was Los Angeles, San Francisco, Long Beach, the Bay. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. Everybody
started here in Oakland, and everybody was getting
everybody was chasing that lifestyle too. It wasn't just one or two people. Everybody was chasing the lifestyle, and there was zero thought, zero concern, and zero consideration about passing it on to the children. If you gonna do a life damn sentence for slanging dope, there better be something somewhere for your damn kids. You know how I know? Take a look at Pablo Escobar, and then take a look at his children. Go take a look at the Ochoas.
Thank you.
Go take a look at the Cali cartel, Medellin. They're either dead or
Thank
in
you.
prison. Take a look at El Chapo. Might be dead or in prison, but they kids is straight from now on. And for those of you who don't know, Pablo's family is still filthy rich to this damn day. Meanwhile, black folk in California, black folk in Florida, black folk in Texas, black folk in Louisiana, but it wasn't nearly as big as it was in California. California was the heart. California was the epicenter. California was where it all... I can't really name everywhere else because there was New York, but in my opinion, New York didn't even have it cracking like California did. In my opinion, New York didn't. New York, they had dudes, Bloods and whatnot, come from California and go to New York and put the game in them up there. Y'all can go Google that if you want to. But I put that on California because California was where they was knee deep off in it.
It was more to that though, Jason, because you not only had the drug game, but you had high tech. You had regular blue-collar work. You had regular white-collar work. There was so much money flowing through here, and you got to everybody has to remember. I mean, this is the time when just after the Civil Rights Movement, here in Oakland, in the Black Power Movement, the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, BGF and all that stuff had jumped off in the 60s and 70s. So white folks was shook, okay? They were giving out so much goddamn money to black folks, and I'm talking about my parents' generation, that, everybody had jobs, everybody had work if you wanted to have work, you know what I'm saying? Unless you were, just destitute. Now, here's the saddest part of all, man. My dad had his construction business, okay? He waited to the last minute only to find out that, he couldn't pass it on to me because he squandered everything, didn't keep good records, and basically I had to start from zero. So you want to know how, what he left me when he passed away? he left me with negative $50,000. I had to bury my father. Okay. And he was crying the whole time. His health failed. His health failed. And every time he would see me, he'd start crying. And especially when I came with my daughter, because he knew that he had squandered everything away and he had nothing to show for it. And he's told me, you know what, you're a better father than I ever could have been.
Well,
I wish I hadn't wasted so much time, money, and effort.
You know,
I'm sorry.
That's cold. That's
saying it,
cold
crying.
comfort, though.
I'm sorry.
That's cold comfort, because the issue there is, was he really sorry for y'all, or was he sorry because, damn, I screwed it all off before I was dead? So now I got to live
he was
under
sorry.
these conditions.
He regretted being a fool and squandering all the money, because here's the worst part about it. He was kind of a player, all right, and all his friends, girlfriends that he was kicking it with, not one of them showed up to his funeral.
Brother, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to speak on your dad too much there, but I'm going to tell you, bro, that generation, there was a slogan that they had back then. Live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse. Live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse.
Fast, die young.
And leave a good-looking corpse. And that was a motto that they lived by in that 60s, 70s generation. They lived by that. And the real thing was, live it up, do what you want to, have sex wherever you want to, however you want to, and hopefully be dead before the final bill comes due. The worst thing you could do is live a long life, because all of this stuff you done did and everything you've wasted because you're not saving up anything is going to come back and catch up with you. Now, if you're a person who doesn't want to be responsible, then that's a death sentence, because you're like, well, damn, I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to think about tomorrow. I want to think about right now. When I get some money, let me go spend some money. So for the young folk, just understand, if somebody has a bunch of money and then they, especially over a period of years, and then it's gone, that's not accidental. That was part of the plan. What was not part of the plan was living long enough that the consequences would catch up with you. And now you got to actually explain to the kids, because you're like, well, damn, I thought I was going to be dead by now, but I'm not. I'm still here. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. Let me get caller from area code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jonathan from Houston, Texas, from Sacramento.
Jonathan from Houston, and what has the old black generation done for you?
Well, do as I say, not as I do. Some cold cooking recipes. Come here so I can slap you. And a gang of one-liners. But what I really wanted to just kind of touch bases on is that the core values of America.
Here's
compensatory fantasy.
The thing here is
the compensatory fantasy.
They created their own. Just understand something. They created their own. I want you all to understand that. They actually created their own genre. They created their own. They actually made and built their own.
Competition over cooperation. Me being an individual don't have to follow just because that person's black. Well, I could be an individual and I could do what I want to do. The compensatory fantasy, as soon as they get a chance, they go spend with the white person and go try to be like a white person. As soon as they get an opportunity. This is the mindset that has to be clocked in. Thank you very much, Mr. Black.
Well, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We all got to understand those folks actually created their own standard. That's why it's been so damn hard to move them off of it. They created their own. Let me get caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's good, Jason? It's the kid James from Plainfield, New Jersey.
James from Plainsfield. And what have the old black folk done for you?
Well, they ain't do nothing but put anger in me and just basically made me angry and powerless. And they ain't really do nothing transformative and combative. They just, they ain't do shit but tell me to smile, pull your pants up, you need to go to church, you need to forgive, you need to walk away. And that shit ain't doing nothing for me. These crackers out here still winning year after year. And this is the best advice you can give me. So, man, fuck them, man. As a 29-year-old, I wish the younger generation of blacks to be great, to be the very best they can, and take their rightful spot as rulers of this universe with everything in it, including the black women. And, Jason, check your spam.
Check my spam.
I had sent you the email again.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Oh, you did?
No, I'll take a look at it.
B1.
If I didn't see it, I'll take a look at it as soon as I finish up tonight.
Gotcha. B1.
Black first, brother. These young black people, if you're not angry, you haven't been paying attention. Caller from area code 609, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, this is Mike the Prez. I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, take your phone off the speaker, sir. Whatever you're doing with it there, you can barely be heard.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not on speaker.
Okay. Let me see if we can try somebody else here. Let me get a caller from area code 313. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm Jason. Jason from Detroit.
Okay, Jason from Detroit. And what have the old black people done for you?
Well, they left a lot of well, first of all, I'm the outcast of my family because I don't listen to everything CNN and Fox tells me. I listen to people, great black doctors and people like you, from your channel and stuff. So that's the first thing that is different for me. But I just think they left a lot of symbolism and political leftovers. In slavery, they gave us the leftovers of the pig and the cow if we was lucky, and they taught us to be happy with political leftovers with the Democrats. And if I say something bad about the Democrats, then that makes me a Republican, which I'm not. I don't trust neither one of them. But that's what they left us: political leftovers. Taught us how to be docile politically. but I appreciate your show. Thank you.
If he's been listening long enough, he knows it's not a show. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 248. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Dolores calling from Pontiac, Michigan.
Hello, Dolores from Pontiac, Michigan. How old are you, Dolores?
I'm an OG.
Okay, how old is an OG, Dolores?
60.
All right, Dolores. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I should be asking you, what have you done for the young black folk?
And thank you for taking my call and allowing me to intercept. Because as far as what I've done, first let me start with, if you don't mind, you asked what did the older generation do for me. And it wasn't.
No. Not in your case. In your case,
right.
you are actually part of that generation. So
that's right.
No, in
that's
your
right.
case, that
that's
I
right.
meant what I said. Now, what you're one of them that we've been talking about. So, what have you done for the young folk? You ain't gonna be 60 and claim, well, I'm here representing the young people.
No. I hold my stance. I hold it strongly. What have I done for the young people? All my life, I can just say, try to direct them, and if they were willing to listen, that was fine. It was a hard struggle to try to find my own path. And that's why I'm on.
It was a hard
their
struggle.
Side.
It was a hard struggle.
It was a hard struggle because
to
I
find
had
your
to learn.
own. It was a hard struggle to find your own path. What exactly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What exactly does that mean?
Meaning that my parents didn't leave anything for me. Meaning that I just had to learn, and through investments and trying to save, and it wasn't a lot of people who were even interested in what I was doing, as far as saying, well, hold on, get into an IRA or whatever I knew that worked.
Okay, well, you're 60,
I didn't have company.
so you're 60, so the
Yes.
401k and IRAs, that didn't even become a mass vehicle really until the late 80s, early 90s. So you would have been dealing with
Right.
something totally different. So let me find out here. How many kids do you have? How many children did you have?
I am a mother. I was a teenage mother.
Okay.
And I had one, and
That's all the children you had.
Jeanette.
You were only pregnant once in your entire life?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And you were a teen mother in what city?
Yes. I am Chi-Town.
Okay, you were a teen
Yes.
mother out of Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was back in the day that was going on too, by the way.
I'm thankful for those who stopped that back alley abortions. That's one thing I can be thankful for. That, yeah.
You're thankful for that. Why?
Because to me, they fought so that you didn't have to have an abortion. You still, they made it where you can have a choice, and my choice, albeit I was a teenage mother. Yes.
Right. You were a teenage mother back in the 70s, back when before the bastard baby epidemic kicked off. You were one of the folks who kicked that off. And not in the deep south.
Sir.
Not in the deep south either.
Embarrassing.
You were one of the ones who immigrated that depraved behavior into the north. So you can't even say you came from the south. with it.
Unfortunately, the first in my family, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, that's a very unfortunate distinction to have. Were your parents married?
Yes, sir.
So why did you have no respect for marriage?
It wasn't that I didn't have respect. I think I did it. It could have been how you say, in like a retaliation. But it only hurt me. Of course.
No, it didn't.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I almost said something here very rude. It only hurt you. Are you freaking kidding me? What about your?
Okay, I'm
what about
listening.
your child? What did it do to them? Nobody gives a damn about you. What about them?
That's right.
What about them?
That's right. Yes.
Your selfishness, who cares what it did to you? What about them?
That's right.
Where's
Yes.
Did you say you had a daughter?
Yes, sir.
Where's she at today?
Meaning, as far as in life,
Where is she at?
she's on her own.
Where is she at?
She's on her own.
Where is she at physically? Where does she live at?
The same place, yes.
She lives in Chicago. Does she live with you?
No.
Which side of Chicago does she live on?
They would call it the South Side.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. South Side is internationally known. How many kids?
Yes, it is.
How many kids does she have?
She had one.
How many?
And she was
how many husbands has she had?
She never got married.
Okay.
Just been with the same person. Yes.
Okay.
I
She
kicked that
quote
off.
just been.
I,
Yeah. Do you feel ashamed of
Mhm.
yourself for what you did?
For sure.
And do you think we give a damn at this point?
No, it's not about anyone giving a damn. It's about me giving a damn about the younger.
But you have
ones.
okay, but
That's-
you have nothing to offer them. So it doesn't matter what you feel now. You have no tangibles to offer. All you've done is mess up the real estate and soil the carpets. You don't have anything to offer. How many assets? What do you have in assets? What do you own?
I have assets. Sir.
Oh, great. What do you own? What do you
yes.
own? What do you own?
From tangibles, as far as a house. If you ask me, as far as a bank account or something like that, if you say, well, how much could you get tomorrow? I could speak money. Yes. That's not important to me.
Oh, yeah. Actually, okay, so money isn't important to you. Yeah, because you're old and decrepit and you failed your whole life. So, of course, you don't want to have to keep score. So, of course, you want to change the subject off of money and tangibles as quickly as you can. I asked a question. What do you own? No. I asked, what do you own?
House, car.
And what side of town is your house on?
It's affluent, sir. It's affluent.
Which side of town is your house on?
Well, I'm not in Chicago. You asked me. I thought you asked me where was I.
Okay.
I came up. No. I'm calling from Michigan, and I'm in the affluent side.
Okay.
And
Michigan
and
is
I'll keep it like that.
is a state, and you can get the hell off my phone if you can't be any more specific. You can get your old failed ass off my phone. Now that's what you can do.
I want to be straight up.
Okay.
And I love learning from you.
Which city do you live in?
Outside of Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay. Outside of Pontiac, Michigan. Let me try this one last time, and then I'm going to introduce you to my hang-up button. Where do you live at?
Bloomfield, Michigan.
Okay, Bloomfield, Michigan. I went through there at about 1,000 miles an hour, so I don't actually know anything about it. But I couldn't help but notice you're in Bloomfield, Michigan. How did your daughter end up in Chicago and you're in Bloomfield?
I moved and got married, and she was an adult by then.
Oh, so what you mean to say is that you screwed your daughter, screwed up her life, gave her a lesser start than you had, and then bounced and out to Detroit she goes. And meanwhile, her daughter is living on the south side of Chicago while you're off in the suburbs of Pontiac.
No, it's not like that at all. I can name Father Clemens, Martha Collins, and any Montessori or private school. I worked hard, but at the same time,
I'm taking a look at your daughter. Your daughter's on the south side of damn East Chicago. Why isn't she in the nice suburbs in Michigan with you?
She didn't make that choice. She chose to stay there.
And who?
But I gave her. I worked hard for the opportunity for her.
And who raised her?
I did. Singly, yes. Yes.
And I want you all to understand, these young people today, I do empathize with them. I do sympathize with their plight, because this is that old civil rights generation that did this to them. They didn't care about nothing. Y'all think that this Cardi B slut culture is new. No, these are little old ladies who now they're old and rickety and got their AARP and their arthritis medicine. But when they were young and could wear some Daisy Dukes and could hustle them draws, when they could get out there in them streets and hustle them draws back in the Superfly days, this is what they were doing. And she had such disrespect and contempt that she was raised by a married couple and gave not two damns about marriage or an intact home for her child. She gave no care whatsoever for it.
I'm not going to agree with you. I support my young, and I that's just it. I support her definitely, but she has to be on the right path. And now she's, by me being a teenage mother. She's much older, but I gave her the best path that I could possibly do, and she made her decision, Jason.
And that didn't have anything to do with how you raised her. She's not a result of your teaching. It's just ain't got you did everything right. Ain't got nothing to do with you.
No, I'll take any responsibility.
Then you can start. Then you can start now.
Yes. Yes.
Don't you dare crook to open your mouth and talk about your daughter's shortcomings or what she doesn't have and not lay that solely at your feet. She is your creation. You didn't even have a man in the home to disrupt it. If she is deficient in any way, that is Dolores's fault.
Yes.
100%. That is ALL all you.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that, and I'll continue supporting.
Do you have a life?
People.
Do you ain't supporting a damn thing? Do you have a life insurance policy?
Definitely.
Oh, good.
Several.
Well, and who's your beneficiary?
She is.
I certainly hope she's listening right now so that she can go check the paperwork, because I don't believe you for a second. But Dolores' daughter on the south side of Chicago, if she's out there listening, you call this old bat up and you get her to show you the documentation that there's actually something there, because other than that, you are on your own.
No, I'm pretty straight up, and she is on my life insurance policies for sure, and I have several. I started, whenever I could learn as far as investing and what have you.
And meanwhile, you've learned so much, and meanwhile, your daughter's on the south side of Chicago, a single mom on the south side of Chicago. Congratulations. Let me do the slow clap for you.
It's not about a clap. I'm praying not only for my own, but for my young people.
And meanwhile, ain't nothing.
And meanwhile, ain't nothing
tangible. Meanwhile, there's nothing tangible.
What do you mean as far as tangible?
Right.
I spoke. You asked about life insurance policy.
That's great.
I'm not into
so you can be a tangible. You can actually be a tangible benefit to your daughter. You're more valuable dead than alive.
I understand what you're saying. I did the best that I could. I put her first, and she did. There were two of us, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop.
Well, so far I haven't been able to tell that you've even started, but in your mind, you're not going to stop, even though I can't even see what's been started. But I can see yet another single mom.
You can ask whatever question.
I don't have any. I have no questions to ask. All I see is yet another single mom who's been pushed out here, and she's passing on this ridiculous, sick, degenerate cycle, spinning our wheels. And you had a better life than she did, and you made sure You made sure early that you would give her a lesser home environment than you had. You're so hateful. You're so hateful that you did that early. You made sure she didn't have a chance. Let me do this right out the gate. I was raised in a two-parent home. Yeah, but marriage ain't for me. Let me go have some fun, and I'm just going to do this. And now here you are at 60, and the game is pretty much almost over at this point. So I hope you didn't call up. That's why I stopped you early, because don't you think you're going to call up and get any respect or anything like that. You done crippled the next generation.
I'm not asking for it. I demand it, but...
You done crippled the next generation, and then thinking you're going to get some sort of accolades for it. You're worth more to her dead than alive.
I can understand that. But at the same time, I'm here, and... I don't know what else to say, but I did the best that I could, knowing that I started that in my family.
This was the best you could do. This
was the part far as being a single parent.
And then had the nerve to call up tonight and want to talk about what the old folks did to you. Quote the old folks, and you
No,
the,
I'm
you
old.
the old you the old folks, and talking about what the old folks did to me. She tried to smuggle herself in.
Not really. But just being in an understanding situation, and I'm supporting my young people. I will not stop. As far as my daughter, she's an OG now. She made her decision, and she did have the best. She had a better start than me.
Really?
As far as trying to start her off educationally wise, and keeping her never saying anything negative about her father, but she did have a father, and if we weren't working together, I just did the best I could. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm all about support.
Hang up the phone.
Yes.
Let me be very, very clear with you all right now and say this in no uncertain terms. If there is anyone who thinks that I have been rude, anyone who thinks I've been unnecessary, anybody who is sympathizing with her, anybody trying to tell me I need to go easier, you can go to hell! You can pack up your raggedy ass and you can go to hell. On a one-horse sleigh. I don't have any regrets whatsoever, because I am channeling the righteous anger of those who cannot say anything, who have lived their lives dealing with this, who have had to live their lives enduring this, who've had to live their lives dealing with the ramifications of some selfish ass who gave birth to them with no plan or anything, just, well, life is an amusement park ride. And her daughter, she had two parents in the home, and she didn't give her daughter two parents in the home. And now she's off in the suburbs, but her daughter is on the south side of Chicago, a single mom, and just having to get by whatever she can get by. And that's it. And then, like I said, you will have those of you sitting here listening, and you're not sympathizing with the victim. You're sympathizing with the victimizer because you understand that you haven't actually done anything. So you sympathize with her when she says that because you ain't did nothing for your children. So you're in the process of repeating the cycle. So you don't like it when I say that. You don't like it when I say that because that upsets you. You got a problem with that. That makes you mad when you hear that. That makes you mad when you hear that because you take a look in the mirror and you realize, hell, you ain't doing nothing. You're not doing anything at all. There's nothing going on. There's nothing being done. You're preparing to repeat the cycle, and that's why you have a problem with that. So yeah, you're very much offended at what I said there. You're very much offended at that. Because you recognize those traits in you. You recognize that as what you're doing. And you're preparing to pass on the same pathetic mistakes to your kids. You're planning on doing the same thing. So you don't have any problem at all with doing that. That doesn't bother you. You want somebody to give you cover so that you can go ahead and repeat the same mistakes. You're perfectly fine with that. that doesn't bother you at all. You're okay with that. You're okay with that. That's okay with you. And that's the issue that I have right there. When I'm telling you all about this stuff, that's the issue that I have. Let me go ahead and get caller from area code 317. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jason?
One more time.
Hello?
You're on live. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Jason? This is Lori calling from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, Lori from Indianapolis. She's a very slow person.
No, I just didn't realize whether you were talking to me or not. I'm very excited to be talking to you, Jason.
When you
How are
heard the
you?
automated voice say unmuted, that was you.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited. Okay, yes.
Let me get the short bus music together. What have the old people done for you, Lori?
Okay, Jason, I'm 60 years old. And I just wanted to say this. I came from a two-family home. My father and mother, they worked hard. And they taught me to work hard. So when I got out of school, I graduated, became a nurse. I got married. I had 3 children. I stayed with their father. We worked hard. We made sure that they went to college. All 3 graduated from college. And shortly after that, I started a business with my daughter. And so we've been moving along, you know, and we plan on making sure that their children have their own business. By the time they're 18, I have grandsons. And I have made sure that before they get out of high
What
school,
is the
they'll have their
business?
own.
What is the business that you have, Lori?
Me and my 3 daughters.
Yes.
We started our own business.
What is the business that you and your 3 daughters have?
We do laser lipo. We do teeth whitening. We do sauna treatment. We do yoni steam.
That sounds downright amazing. So you're a dermatologist?
No. First of all, I'm a nurse, and my daughter's a nurse.
Okay, what?
My
Wait a minute.
other daughter's a beautician.
Wait. You said you're in Minneapolis?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay, you're in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who are unaware, there are certain states that they divide up what you can do by procedures. So in reality, if you actually have qualifications, you don't necessarily have to be a dermatologist to perform what in most other states would be dermatological procedures.
Hello?
Your phone is she's not making enough money to get a good phone though, apparently.
Call dropped.
No, your phone did not drop, but I think you're scared that I'm getting ready to ask you where your business is. But that's okay, because if your number drops, I'm going to call you right back, and then I'm going to ask you about your business, because I would love to take a look at it so we can patronize it.
Jason?
I got a feeling that she's going to try to act like she can't hear me, but that's okay, because I'm going to call her right back, and we are going to discuss about the business, because she called up so that she could regale us about how well it was going. So by all means, I'm going to make sure that we can finish this discussion. I wouldn't want anyone to miss out on that. Very, very important there, because if someone is going to represent to me that they're one of the old folks and they've done something for their kids and whatnot, especially if she's felt the need to call up for that, then I certainly think that it would behoove us to go ahead and take a look into that and see exactly what they've been doing up there and go ahead and get them patronized here. So let's go ahead and call Lori back right now and see if she'll answer the phone. Hello, Lori.
Oh, hi. It's Lori.
Hello, Lori.
Hi, Jason.
Now, I was interested in your business that you have there. So you have a business where apparently in Indiana you've got qualifications that allow you to do certain individual procedures because, like, for example, teeth whitening, are you using the lights or are you using, like, the chemicals to whiten the teeth?
We're doing the lights.
Okay, so you're actually using the light. So you must you must be a RN or BSN. You gotta be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which one?
I'm an RN. My daughter's an RN. Yes.
Okay, so in Indiana, apparently they allow you all to do individual procedures. This isn't a nationwide thing. Most states actually don't allow you to do that, but Indiana, Florida, Indiana, Florida, California is hit or miss. There's a few other states I can name here. Georgia, to a lesser degree. You would think the southern states would be more egalitarian in that regard, but they're not. Certain states allow you to divide up these procedures, and several of the things you named are actually dermatological procedures that in other states you would have to be a dermatologist to be able to do
Very
that.
true.
But there are certain states, for those of you who don't know, there's just certain states that allow you to do those procedures even if you are not a specialist. So
That's
we'll see how that
exactly right.
turns out. So you know what, Lori, I am inspired and I am intrigued. I would love for us to know more about your business.
Absolutely.
Would you mind giving us your information here so that if anybody's in Indiana and they need to get their stretch marks zapped, we can come see Lori and her daughters?
Yes, sir. Yeah, actually, our name is the name of our business is LC Cosmetics. We are located in Indianapolis, Indiana, at 3410 High School Road. You can call 317-413-6064. Please do and support this Black business. It's me and my daughters, and we are working very hard to make it a success, and we could use all the help we can get.
Okay, and what was that address again?
3410 North High School Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46224.
Okay. Well, I did go by your website. It's kind of light on information, Lori. I don't know.
It's so true. You're right.
Yeah,
we got to do better.
Okay.
In fact, we just got to do a whole lot better.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out how to even get up on Google when people Google.
Slow down. Pump your brakes. You've come to the right place, okay?
Cool.
What I will do here, because I get this ALL all of the time.
Okay.
But I am willing to offer, as long as I don't get anything that looks stupid or silly. For my people here, the folks who are always yelling at me that they want they want to do a website for me, I ain't in the market for it. But Lori and LC Cosmetics at lccosmetics.business.site. First of all, they need a real website. That's the first thing.
Okay.
They do have an Instagram. Now that's probably more powerful than anything, but you use Instagram to direct people to your business. So we really, that would be a good thing to help there. I'm not really big on promoting folk for SEO, but she needs somebody who knows how to do a website here. Let me go ahead and put the link to her website in the chat room. I'm doing that so you all can take a look at it, either live or recorded. You all can take a look at that. And to my folks who've been bugging me about doing websites and whatnot, well, I found somebody you can actually help. You can't help me, but I found someone you can actually help. If you will do it for free, you will not charge her anything. You will not charge her anything at all. Nothing. Jason, nothing. And the reason for that is because at this point, if you want to show us that you're serious and whatnot, if you want me to take you more seriously, here's an opportunity for you to establish a proof of concept.
Okay.
Here's a chance for anyone who wants to show that for me. You can establish that as a proof of concept. So I've given you her information. You can go ahead and take a look into that. I'm sure that'll come together for you. I'm sure that will. But I think that she would be a prime candidate for this.
Oh.
I think she would be a prime candidate. So to my folks out there who do websites and whatnot, get in touch with her. She's open and willing. She's got a whole bunch of folk here who need that. So I think that would be a big opportunity for you there. And I want you to see about getting back in touch with me. And like I say, there are some folks who try to offer SEO, search engine optimization. I'm not a real big, I'm not really big on going with people on that kind of thing. That's really kind of something I don't really recommend anybody as far as that's concerned. But if they do offer that to you, that might be something there. But the one thing I'm going to say is that if it's somebody who said they heard of you through me, they are to do this pro bono.
Okay.
They are to do this pro bono, and if they do not, wait for the next one.
Okay.
And I want you to if someone does contact you, I want you to get back in touch with me. You can email me at theblackauthority@yahoo.com. That's theblackauthority@yahoo.com. And you can put in the subject line LC Cosmetics website.
Okay.
That way we'll know what that is there.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be a place to start.
You're the best. Thanks, Jason.
All right. Well, definitely I am intrigued about this. How long have you all been in business?
Oh, about 6 months now.
Okay. Well, let me find out a few things here, okay? We interrupt tonight's program of flogging the old generation because we actually found one of them that might be worth a damn. I need to investigate further. I just finished verbally stomping out one grandma up in here.
You really did. I couldn't believe it when I was next. I'm like, damn, I want to talk to Jason.
Did she have it coming? Don't answer that. You need customers. Anyway, what I want to ask about here is I found this to be very interesting, though. You said you're 60 years old, you're an RN, but you went into cosmetic procedures. Now, most RNs sit on their asses and don't do that. They don't try to diversify. They spend their entire careers trying to live a job at somebody's clinic, at somebody's pharmacy. You didn't decide to do that. You decided to maximize what you had. So I'm just curious, why is it that you chose to do that?
Oh, my God, Jason. I am my own person. I have so many talents, and I have so much ambition, and I have so much energy. I'm amazed at the energy that I have at 60. And so since God has given me all this energy, I'm so creative. I knew that I had way more to do yet. And so all of the years that I was a nurse, and I was thinking, but God, there's more. And so eventually I got really tired of nursing. And I just decided, okay, it's just really time to do something else before it's too late. I've got these daughters here, and I don't want them to just have a job. I want them to be entrepreneurs. I want that for all of my children and grandchildren. We preach it all day long. You got to have your own. You don't need a paycheck. You're smart enough to make money on your own. And so that's just who I've been day one.
Okay. Let me find out here. Of course, I have to ask. I see daughters. I have not heard a word about a husband yet.
Oh, yes. They are all deeply involved and heavily involved in a relationship. I've talked to my daughters, and they say that they want to get married, and they say that they are going to get married, and that, okay, can I see some wedding dates, please? And so I'm excited for them. I believe that they're all going to marry the men that they're with. They're all in committed relationships, but they have a hesitancy to get married. Myself and their father were married for 24, 25 years. They know what it's like to be in a two-parent household, and they know that I want that for their children, my grandchildren.
Well, I think that's very important. Now, why did you feel like getting off into these individual procedures? You could have become a nurse practitioner. There's any number of different private practice types of things you could have done. Why did you choose to get off into these cosmetic procedures?
I absolutely did not want to work for anybody else. I need to have the freedom to make my own money. I've always been out there just kind of hustling. You know, I was sold something on the side. There ain't been a time when I ain't sold something, had something that would bring me my own money that nobody could say anything about. And so I just took it to the next level. I had to take it to the next level because I had to do it for them. I have to have something. I have to know that they can make money for themselves on their own. And so it was absolutely something I had to do, and that's why I did it. And I'm so happy I did. We are making money. It's slow, but they know the feeling of making their own money and being their own boss, and they love it.
I think that's important here too. Let me find out here, because some of the stuff you have here doesn't look half bad. I'm seeing here you do laser lipo.
Yes, it's exciting. Exciting. It's new to Indiana.
She does.
It's non-invasive.
Okay.
It's not like you go inside the body and pull the fat out like, let's say, a Sonabella might do.
Right.
We use laser therapy, laser technology, and laser technology that will go in. We open up the fat cell, and then we use what's called cavity. That's laser lipo. We go into the fat cell, open it up. And then we do part 2, which is cavitation, which is where we literally liquidate the fat the fat cells we opened up. And how do they get rid of it? By excretion of any kind. Okay. Urination, feces, sweating. And that's how the body rids it. And you do exercise with it, and you drink lots of water so that your body gets rid of it. It's very good, but it's not as fast as, let's say, the going inside the body and sucking fat out. Takes a little work and effort, but it's a lot cheaper.
I'm seeing some of these. I'm seeing you doing one procedure in here for laser cavitation. She's trying to get some of that. She's trying to get some of that baby mama fat off of her there. So
that's what we're trying to do.
What does she say? Let me
and
get back.
A lot of our women have that extra fat. So
they're trying to get their. They're trying to get their. They're getting their teeth. They're getting their teeth whitened and trying to get their midsections lasered to get them stretch marks.
We're trying to do it all.
Yeah.
What do you know about Yanni?
Yeah, to get Tyrone's baby fat, Tyrone's stretch marks. She's trying to get Tyrone's stretch marks from Tyrone's baby off of her. So Tyrone and Pookie. She's trying to get a new lease on life after Tyrone and Pookie's babies up in there. So we're gonna see if we can help you with that.
What we're trying to do.
I know what the rest of these are. That's what I'm saying. She's offering nether region steam cleaning. I will say that.
Yes, sir.
So all y'all folks who've gotten your Brazilians, she's here to make you feel very self-conscious. So she does a lot of that stuff here. Let me ask you one more thing, and I don't want to get too much off into your business, but I am very much intrigued by this.
Good.
Let me find out here about as far as getting started. What did you use or need to get started? Because that would be the next question we would have.
All right, good. Well, it just actually my daughters, they work and we save money. I taught them to save money, invest money. But what happened was we just all took a portion of our savings and we took the courses, we bought the machines, we rented the building, and we just put a open sign on there. And so we funded it all ourselves.
Well, that is certainly a good thing. I do know a thing or two about funding a business yourself, although it was not any type of medical practice or cosmetics practice. It wasn't anything like that. So that's a rather sane undertaking for these things, okay? That is really a rather interesting undertaking for it. And this is all
we did it.
This is all important for me because what I'm saying here is that I'm taking a look at it here and I think that's really interesting what you've done. I really think it is. Although I'm just curious, and you don't have to go into this if you don't want to here, But
No.
without credit, that's the hard way of doing it.
Isn't it? But we were blessed, lucky. I don't know what happened, but we all had a situation where we had the money. It doesn't happen often that we all have money at the same time, enough money to do that. But it was the timing.
Right.
And we had the money.
But here's the real issue. The issue, though, is that most black businesses do not succeed, and I certainly have every expectation that yours will. But the real issue is because if they're undercapitalized, because we tend to have just enough money to open the doors, but not enough to really, what you're supposed to have is like a year's worth, so that you can make sure that, you stay going about it there. So that's a very important thing to have. Yes.
This is one of the things that made it really easy. My daughter is a stylist. She's pretty successful in this area. Pretty successful. She has a good following. She was already renting booths. No, actually, she had acquired her own little salon. She was paying $600 a month, And so what she did was, in one of our rooms, she has her beauty shop. So that took, quite a bit of our monthly rental fee down to where the three of us can handle the rest. It's good that it's four of us. Four of us pay the utility bills. Four of us pay the rent for the office. Four of us bought the machine. So we divided it so that it wasn't too much for any one person.
Well, that's very good to have. That really, really is.
Yeah.
But just as you know, like I say, because I'm not sure how much, I'm assuming you worked for a hospital or a doctor's practice before you decided to do your own thing?
I did.
Okay. Just for those of you who are not aware of that, because, I do have friends, relations, and associates who have medical practices and run businesses of this. Here's the real thing I want you to understand, because this is more important than anything. If your business needs to be able to scale up. And right now, what you've done is smart. You got a good, ready, reliable workforce. You went in the family, so your workforce is good, ready, and reliable. And that's a very good thing. They've got equity in the business. That's a very good thing as well. But the real thing is, what's the next step going to be? Because where you started is not going to be, if it's successful, it's not going to be where you finish. So this is supposed to be just the beginning. And without credit, that can be a difficult thing. So when I'm saying, so far I've heard a lot of things that are good. I have a sneaking suspicion, though, that because it is self-funded, it may be a situation where it's like, oh, well, we're relying all on our own money. And here's the only issue with building a business out of your savings. And I had to learn this myself, okay? When you are relying only on your own savings, that will make you cash poor. The advantage of credit, and I know it sounds scary at first, but the advantage of credit is you get to go into business and you get to risk their money, not yours. And it's a whole lot better to borrow somebody else's money and then have to owe them than it is to use up all of your money in the bank and then try to figure out how to replenish it later or wait for it to come back. And plus, it gives you the ability to expand because you've got access to money without actually having to go into your own. So it's basically like making a whole bunch of profit up front without having to rely on yourself. And it's also a very good barometer if the business is doing well. So those are important things as well. But, I think this is really a great thing, especially for some of these procedures here. This equipment is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. This is not simple equipment, and it's not cheap. But I want you to do well at it, and I want you to be well at it. And I think that that's a very important thing for you as well. So I know we just met and everything, so I would tell everybody, before y'all start getting out your venture capital, we just met. Let's hold off a minute. We just met Lori. She might be running a scam. I hope she's not.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, we just met. Okay, Lori, we literally just met, baby. We don't do stuff on the first date, baby.
That's right. But I am the real deal.
Yeah, but we got to talk about your liposuction and your Why steaming? I mean, we all off in our personal business here, and I understand, but we just met, baby. We all off in personal. But I am certainly willing to take a look. I'm certainly willing for that. You're gonna have all kinds of folk wanting to contact you now. Folks.
Jason, you're the best.
Whoa, I'm not inviting them. Hey, I ain't inviting them to. I'm saying people.
Right.
People, do your due diligence. I don't want a bunch of folk calling her up talking about, hey, baby, I got an idea. I don't want that.
No.
I'm a firm believer that a business should be successful first. And then after they've proven that they're running a successful business, then all you have to do is inject capital, because at that point she can look into more laser cosmetic machines or whatever she wants to do there. So I'm a firm believer that you get that going, or to a better, more profitable location or prime location or whatever. I'm a firm believer and that's the way you do it. So folks, I know you might be a little love struck right now. I'm telling you all, for everybody, wait a minute, let's at least have a honeymoon before we start popping out kids. But I certainly think that this is a good place to start. If you've been here 6 months, I need your Yelp reviews to be on point. You're going to have to earn the right to get people to do these things, because I also believe in black excellence. And if you're going to be there and do this, you need to be the best at it. And as long as you're doing that, that's all we really have a right to expect from you. And from there, the rest goes from there. But to my website people, you got the name of her website here and stuff. Don't be calling up trying to take her daughters out, damn it. Just get to the website part of it.
Pretty.
Well, I mean, I'll take, with their masks on, I'll take your word for it. But in any case, what I want y'all to do, like I say, if y'all are doing websites and whatnot, she needs to get her website game upgraded. Let's go ahead and see my website people. Let's see about doing that. Y'all could literally help her do that in a day. This ain't something that takes a week. They can literally put a website together for you in a day. So that's not something that takes weeks and weeks. So don't let nobody fool around with that. And don't let them take your website down unless you need, if you don't have a webmaster for that. So don't let folk take your website down and make it where you can't get it back up, because we ain't making any permanent commitments here. But for that, that's good. I would love for it. I would love for it if you would contact me back. I think that would be a great thing. Like I said, make sure you send me an email. I would like to be able to keep up with you. And I'd love for us to have this conversation again in 6 months. I'd love for us to have this conversation again here in 6 months, so we can see how things are going. And if everything is being handled correctly and if proper business is being done, then like I say, I mean, we might, let's see if there's anything else we can do in the future about that. Because like I say, right now, she's just starting out. I mean, right now, they don't even know. Right now, they don't. For everybody talking about they want to invest, thank you very much, because I've got the most motivated people on the planet. I got the most serious audience on the planet. You came to the right place, which is why we got to vet people who come here. But here's the issue. Everybody, she's not ready for investors. She's really she literally just started. She doesn't they don't even know for certain what they want the business to be. No offense, but we got teeth cleaning, we got nether region cleaning, we got lasers, we got a hair shop. This is almost like Rollo's barbecue and tire shop. You know, we need to make sure that we focus and whatnot. So at this point right now, she's not even sure 100% what she wants it to be. So once they get that solidified and it's very clear, and then she's like, okay, the daughters get together and stuff, and we know what direction that we're trying to take this in over the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, then they will be ready for investors. But right now they got to prove that. So everybody don't just jump into this. That's not due diligence. That's not how business is done. Business is done
we
by...
got time. We can wait.
Correct. They need... Once they prove that they doing business, and once they prove that they can make what they're doing at their storefront successful, then you bring in money. Money doesn't make you successful. Money allows you to scale up that which is already successful. A lot of y'all who don't know about business and investment, you don't invest in someone to make them a success. They show you they are a success, and it's like, well, damn, you're a success. All you need is more money now to scale this thing up. Nipsey Hussle didn't need a record deal to become a success. He was a success, and all the record deal allowed him to do was to scale up. Drake, same thing. Cash Money Records, same thing. Chief Keef, same thing. I can go down the list, but that's how proper business is done, okay? Right now, she's only been at it 6 months. She's really just started. She needs time to get under her feet, get her feet under her about what she's going to be and what it's going to be. That's what it needs to be now. So let's give it, before you all start talking about investing, let's give it time to do that, okay? Let's give it time to do that. That's an important thing.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, well, make sure you send me that email and whatnot, and if there's anything else, let me know, and we'll be watching.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for this call tonight. Yeah, I thought I was going to have to stomp out another one, but didn't turn out that way, so we will see. Everyone, don't fall in love. Please don't do that. We don't know him well enough to fall in love now. Let's not do that. Let's get to know him a little bit better now. We really just met, baby. I can't trick off no money on you just yet. To the folks out there, it's like, well, she called into my program. Okay, y'all all know I'm straight, I'm legit, I'm on the level, but we just met. We can't trick off the money just yet. We just met. So let's get to know each other a little bit better before we start breaking bread. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. That's proper business. I really want to end it on that phone call, to be totally honest with you. I'm scared to death. I'm going to take another phone call and it's going to totally screw this up and throw off the energy and disrupt everything. Should I go ahead and just end it now while we're on a good note? I think maybe I should go ahead and just end it now while we're still on a good note. I'm worried about if I keep going, I'm going to get on the phone and it's going to be JC the Coon going to call up. Yeah, I was begging to right. You young whippersnappers need to show us some respect out here. What y'all do, that's what y'all need to do, you young niggas. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it now. Yeah, let me go ahead and just wrap it up now while we're on a good note. Let me go ahead and just wrap it up before anybody has a chance to disrupt it or mess it up here. Let's just go ahead and do that. Some folks are like, let's tempt fate. No, let's not. If you're new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, over 114,000 subscribers and rising. Click that red subscribe button so you can be counted amongst our ranks. Click that yellow notification bell. YouTube does have us under a shadow ban, but check back here every weekend, same black time, same Black Channel, and join us. And if you haven't seen our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, go to our website, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And check out our documentaries, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Ethnic Cleansing American Style, our newest documentary, Race War, all available on Amazon, on DVD, and for streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.